Hey, everybody. Welcome to our TeamToken Live AMA. We're very happy to have you here.
Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
About that.
So this is just an exciting AMA we're going to have. We just want to get some community questions, community feedback. And before we get into that, I'm just going to really quickly introduce the team and introduce TeamToken as a concept. So first, we have Aaron Shames, our CTO. We have Simon Paris, the CIO, and myself, Marcus Yavor, founder and CEO. And TeamToken is an exciting convergence of crypto and sports. And so what we've come up with here at TeamToken is a way to have digital ownership of real world sports teams. So we'll get a little bit more into what that all means, but high level, you can buy an NFT of real world sports teams, for example, the Buffalo Bills. And if they win in the real world, you get rewarded. And that's the concept. And we're going to be expanding into a bunch of leagues, which we'll show you in a bit where we're going. And we also have a pre-sale going on, as All Content X just mentioned. We're getting closer and closer to pre-sale. That's right. And we'll talk about the pre-sale. But first, we'll see if any questions pop up. For now, it looks like everyone's just hyping up some LFGs everywhere, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you want to show our website?
Yep. So here's the teamtoken.com website, your portal to all things TeamToken. Easy to access the pre-sale from here and just keep up to date with when it's starting, which is August 28th, as most of you'd be aware. But yeah, you can just
answered right at the same time as the question.
Yeah.
When is the pre-sale?
Pre-sale is August 28th, and yeah, so there's our pre-sale page. And easy way, I'll put it in the chat, but it's teamtoken.com/presale. And that's going to take you.
I'll just demonstrate that for everyone. So teamtoken.com/presale. If you want a quick link there, it's going to forward you right to ThinkSale. I can post that in the chat if you want.
Yeah, please do.
Otherwise, there is a bunch of links directly on the teamtoken.com website near the top, hero image.
Awesome. And yeah, and for those that don't know, pre-sale, it's your first opportunity to get involved with a new crypto. So that's kind of how some cryptos launch, is instead of just distributing tokens to everybody, it's a fair way to do it. We're doing a fair launch. So the only way to get team tokens is to participate in this pre-sale. And but what it means with a fair launch is that if everybody that buys Team Token at whatever price it's set, so let's say there's 10 million Team Tokens, or sorry, we have 20 million Team Tokens that are being sold. Let's say 2,000 people equally buy them. Those people will have the exact same price for that Team Token. So it just makes it a really fair playing field for anybody that wants to get involved with Team Token. There's no private sale prior to this. This is your first chance to get involved. And with the marketing we've got, we were informed, actually, Aaron, if you scroll up, you'll see the trending bar right at the top. Where is that? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's there.
You'll see that there's the top 12 trending programs. So we're about 17th right now. We were told by PinkSale that we're about 17th out of all the projects listed. And the crazy thing is, you can see our pre-sale starts in 6 days, and we haven't even started marketing on this. So there's already a lot of hype generating on Team Token, and we're looking forward to getting that pre-sale going.
Oh, I fully expect to be trending in the top numbers once pre-sale gets going, even potentially before that.
100%.
Maybe I could just speak a little bit more on how the pre-sale works, just for anyone that's not familiar with like this fair launch style of pre-sale. And I think you covered it pretty well, but just to kind of a little bit higher level. Essentially, with this, there's a lot of flexibility in how much we're able to raise, and that's why we went with this method, because we feel the potential of the project is incredible. So we didn't want to cap people from not being able to participate, and we kind of want to let the open market or the pre-sale participants to basically determine what our market cap should launch at, which is pretty much exactly how the fair launch works. So as Marcus mentioned, we have 20 million tokens that are up for grabs in the pre-sale. As long as we pass our soft cap of 25 Ethereum on the raise side, then everything's going to go through. It'll succeed. But we really set our soft cap quite low. and we were anticipating raising quite substantially more than that. So however much Ethereum is raised overall, that will get evenly distributed among all the 20 million tokens will get evenly distributed based on, how much everybody contributed of their percentage of the total. So, if we raise 1,000 ETH and somebody put in 10 ETH, right? I think that's that's 1%, I believe. They'd have 1% of that 20 million tokens. So really quite as simple as that, but you won't know the rate that you're getting until the pre-sale concludes. So, but yeah, everybody gets the exact same rate, and that's why it's the fair launch.
Yeah, and what ends up happening generally on these fair launch pre-sales is there's a lot of FOMO. So you'll notice the last day, probably 90% of sales happen on the last day. So it kind of slowly builds up for the first 3 days that we're going to be on, and then the last day FOMO really hits, and because everybody also knows how many are participating, how many tokens are going to get by then. So yeah, the last day, the last few hours is really when it really pumps up.
Let me handle this question real quick. There is a lot of documentation available online about how to participate in a pre-sale, but I'll give you the rundown real quick. And again, I'm not sure your level of experience in crypto, so I'll just kind of go high level and start with the basics. But someone not involved in crypto, you're going to want to get a Web3 wallet set up, like MetaMask. We're on Ethereum mainnet, which is basically the network that started it all in terms of DeFi and all these things. So when you get MetaMask going, that's going to be your default network that's basically selected there. So you'll have to load that up with some Ethereum. You could do that by transferring from an exchange. I think even MetaMask might have some options to buy with card or buy with various different fiat sources. So basically, you're just going to want to load up your wallet with some Ethereum. And once you've done that, and assuming that our pre-sale has already started, you can just simply enter the amount that you'd like to dedicate towards the pre-sale. And I mean, you'll see right away what the current rate is on how much tokens you'd get for your Ethereum, but it's really irrelevant until the pre-sale concludes. Because again, I think as Marcus was about to hint there, that a lot of the action comes right at the end of the pre-sale with the fair launch. So so really we'll see what the final rate is going to be near the end.
Yeah, and like Aaron said, so their Pink Sale itself has some guides on how to buy and how to participate, which we'll actually link on our socials once that's live. But yeah, so that's probably the guide you're going to follow. It's very thorough guide there if you do actually want to get, if you're not sure how to get involved with Pink Sale and how to buy pre-sale.
I'm going to post this in the chat here for everyone, the link to how to participate.
Yep, great call.
Thank you for the great question, David. It'll hopefully help out anyone else that might be hyped for this, but aren't quite sure where to start.
And again, like if anybody has any difficulties or any problems whatsoever, we're always around to help. Pink Sale team's always around to help. So definitely don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, and just before we move on from the Pink Sale, Aaron, if you scroll down to the tokenomics, one of the big advantages to what we've done on TeamToken here, you can see that all of our coins are locked. And so you'll see if you look at all the other Pink Sales, some of the pre-sales, there's some scams that you can clearly tell, like they have almost all their tokens unlocked. There's various different signs of scam, but obviously we took this very by the book and have all of our tokens locked. Everything's going to the pre-sale allocate, and you can see the different allocations we have. But what's really important is the locked liquidity. So at the end of this pre-sale, all of the 51% of what's raised ends up going into locked liquidity. And that is a really good thing because you know that you're always going to have something to trade in and out of, from TeamToken into Ethereum, Ethereum into TeamToken. So that's what the locked liquidity does for at least 365 days after the pool.
Well, we got some great questions coming up, but just let me add just a tiny bit to what you were just saying there. So, the exact way that this is going to work is once we finalize the pre-sale. So anytime after the pool end date. So essentially, once it's no longer possible to participate in the pre-sale, basically what we can do is we can just finalize the pre-sale, which will then automatically create our Uniswap V2 pool with 9.69 million team token and 51% of the money raised, of the Ethereum that we raise. And that combined with the 9.69 million was what will create our first pool. And as Marcus was mentioning, the liquidity will be locked up for 365 days. Reason we locked it up for that amount of time was to show, that we're obviously not planning on touching that anytime soon. And the reason we didn't do it for longer is because there's likely going to be better ways to structure that liquidity once the price stabilizes in terms of concentrated liquidity with Uniswap V3 or Uniswap V4 will be out by then. So there'll be better options to put that to work so that people can trade with less price impact and, just basically to just move it around and make it more efficient.
Exactly. Well, let's get back to some more high level questions.
We got some great ones here.
In the weeds there, which is great.
Well, there's a couple of questions here. Let me go one by one. What leagues will you guys have?
So I do have the leagues page open.
There you go. And so the first one to be launched. So you can see these are sorted by the date that we're launching. And so the first one's actually going to be the NFL and starting September 7th. And you can see that we've also got the NHL, NBA, we've got cricket starting. And then our first individual sport in January is going to be the PGA Tour. So that's going to be pretty cool. This site, you can go to teamtoken.com/leagues and check out any sport that you're interested in and when we're actually going to have the team NFTs available.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing is on the people that get the team tokens from the pre-sale, they'll be first available to actually buy these team NFTs from the NFL, which is our first official league that's launching.
Yeah, and it's I can't stress enough that with our plans for this and all the different sports that we're going to involve and we're going to be doing this year after year. These original NFTs are going to be the collector's items, in my opinion. Right? It's almost like if you have any kind of collection that becomes very popular, the original ones are always the most in demand or the most desirable for the real collectors. So it's a unique combination of, because we're brand new, these NFTs are likely going to be quite cheap compared to what they'd be in the future, but they're also likely going to end up being the most desirable ones in the future. So it's a pretty interesting combination there.
And just before we move on, we'll just answer Karen's question here. What sports will Team Token be involved in? So we're actually right on the page. So that's a great timing for that question. You can see we've got all the sports here. This is the ones that are coming up within the next year here. We'll all be in the next year, but these are the ones coming up by the end of 2020. The soonest. And then you can scroll down and we'll see all the sports that we've got there.
Basketball, tennis, NFL.
We'll make this sortable as well. I'm very excited about the soccer. There's a ton of leagues there, and that is the most popular sport in the world. So we know just one thing to note on soccer. So the season just started a couple of weeks ago, but we are launching in a week. So instead of waiting a full week, we're actually going to do a mid-season launch of these, and we'll get more details on that soon. So likely in December or January, we're going to do a mid-season launch of Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, some of the big soccer leagues there, just so you can get your team this year, and you'll own them forever and get rewards.
Well, we should also say that if anybody, hasn't seen their favorite sport or league here, that, nothing's really off the table. Anything that's going to be something that's in demand, that's, people are going to appreciate and want to buy with their team tokens is something that we'll definitely consider to add. So
if you go all the way to the bottom, you can see a bunch of ideas we have. Can't guarantee that they'll all be there, but we'd like to try the last list because this is really cool. This really applies to all sorts of things. So, we'll be able, when the Olympics happen, we'll be able to have the different countries, be able to represent your country with your team NFT for your country. We'll have esports is definitely going to be huge as well. We could even go into TV reality shows and Oscars, presidential elections. People go nuts for that. The sky's the limit. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, we're getting some great questions coming up though, so let's maybe address some of the earlier ones. We can move on.
Going back to this one, which will be the first one to be launched with.
I think we've already touched on this.
Yep, that's the NFL. And could you go through the roadmap?
Okay, we could do that.
Yep.
Yes, just on the main page actually is probably the quickest, simplest one we've got. Yep. Scroll down to the roadmap. So the roadmap. I'll just summarize it high level. You can go into detail on the white paper or here, but the biggest part of our roadmap is actually getting the marketplace going and then just continuously expanding the leagues. So you'll see that we've got in Q2, we're going to have the addition of esports division, and esports in the Asian market is just massive. You've got literally billions of people watching esports. So being able to actually own your esports team is going to be a really cool part of that, and really a great way to penetrate it, especially in the South Korean market. It's just massive there. One of the cool things I'm excited about is the TeamToken Foundation we're going to have in Q1. So we're going to take some of our profits and have TeamToken Foundation and start partnering with local sports organizations to, I mean, it works both ways because you're also going to have sponsorships of that, but really just working in communities to grow sports, because my whole life I've just been involved with sports and I'm passionate about sports. So having a TeamToken Foundation to actually help with that is something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Those were fantastic questions, and we got a bunch more as well.
I'll just add one more thing on the roadmap there. So we've all heard, and we're going to get into a little bit more about the reward structures and how that's all paid out. But what's another exciting benefit that we're working towards on Team NFTs, we're going to have exclusive opportunities, exclusive engagement. So, for example, if you own the Team NFT of the Toronto Maple Leafs, we'll try and get you an AMA for all the people holding that NFT with a player from that team. Or we're also going to work towards partnerships with streaming services so that you can watch the sports right on TeamToken. So these are all about a year from now, but these are all the possibilities we're going to have with our NFTs. So this is truly going to be a utility NFT. And people say that all the time, but you can actually see the utility within these NFTs.
Cool. And the beauty of that is, like, it's going to be so easy to actually securely implement exactly what you just said, right? It's very easy to verify, does this wallet have this team NFT of this team? Like, that's something that our contracts could figure out in a split second. So it's going to be something really easy to implement, but insanely valuable to the holders of team NFT.
Yeah. So, all right.
Let's get some answers going.
Yeah. What are your long-term plans for sustainable growth?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that if you look at long-term plans for sustainable growth on most crypto projects, there are none because they don't have any revenue sources. It's one of the biggest challenges in Web3 and with crypto projects. A lot of it's just hype and let's try and sell my coin and hope that a lot of people buy it. But what we're doing is offering demand for our token and demand for our team NFTs. So we're going to be continually expanding all the leagues, as you saw in our upcoming leagues page. The more leagues we have, the more NFTs that are out there. And the only way to purchase these team NFTs is with TeamToken. So that's driving demand and driving long-term demand for the token itself. But for sustainable growth, one of the big parts is that within our marketplace, there's a fee on all the transactions. And that goes towards building both our treasury and building the rewards pool. So there'll be actually more bonus rewards for the different leagues as well. So the more transactions in the marketplace, the more that our treasury grows and the more that the rewards go. And that's what the biggest part of our plan for sustainable growth there.
Again, great question. Thank you. Mentioned rewards for my team winning. How are the rewards paid out?
I can handle this one if you want.
Yeah, Aaron, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, because we decided to, well, actually, I won't get too technical here. Essentially, so if you're holding a team NFT or multiple team NFTs for a team that wins, what will happen is when that win is recorded in our system, all the owners of those team NFTs will basically have their rewards added onto the rewards that they're able to be claimed. We track that in the smart contract. So if you have 10 team NFTs of a certain team and they win, you'll have 10 times whatever the single win was for that team, and that will be instantly claimable in team tokens right on our app.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, that's the cool thing is that you don't have to worry about, did my team win? Does it not? The smart contract handles all of that. So all you have to do is hold your team, and when they win, it's automatically into your account. You'll just go and claim the rewards, and what can you do with your rewards? That's another question a lot of people have been asking. Is like, what do I actually get rewarded? Well, it's important to know these rewards are actual tangible tokens. They're going to be ERC20 tokens.
They're going to be very liquid as well.
Exactly. You're going to get team tokens for any rewards that you get. And those can be converted back to Ethereum. They could be converted to cash. They can be converted into more team NFTs and expand your team NFT portfolio. So these rewards are actual cash that you're getting when your team wins.
You know what, real quick, something I said last time, our last AMA, that I just really want to reiterate again. I know it's kind of not directly related to what we're addressing right now, but it's just the extreme value in the team NFT, right? It's just, at first we have our pre-sale where people get their team tokens. And then to buy a team NFT with your team tokens, there's 3 distinct ways that you can make money. One of them obviously being your team performing well and getting the team token rewards. But the other 2 reasons could potentially be exponentially higher, depending on, well, for one, how your team does, but also, the demand for team NFTs. So the other 2 ways that you can make money after buying a team NFT is, your team NFT is basically denominated, its value is denominated in team tokens. So that's what you're using to buy it. If you're using our marketplace, that's what you're going to list it in. You're going to list it in team tokens. Someone's going to buy it in team tokens. So team token appreciating in value is naturally going to make every asset that's denominated in team tokens more valuable. So just our token going up in value, your team NFTs are worth more. Also, I've said it numerous times, but these original team NFTs from our first seasons for some of these leagues are, in my opinion, going to be by far the most desirable ones in the future. So not only do we anticipate team token going up in value, but also the number of team tokens to buy that team NFT off of you is likely going to go up quite substantially as well. So even putting the rewards aside for a second, these team NFTs are likely, going to be quite a good investment. Not financial advice, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we mentioned the actual number, but each team, there's only 100 NFTs per team. So you can see the scarcity involved there. And that's what Aaron's talking about is, once one, and somebody might own 10 of them, right? So once 100 people actually get them, or 100 of them are sold, that's it for that season. And the only place you can get them is on the secondary market. You might pick up that last question. That's perfect timing for that.
Let me just add one thing real quick. Because I've made the comparison to like something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club before, right? Where it's like you have 10,000 of these apes, and you have there was so much more demand than supply that we saw the price go from the mint price was like 0.3 ETH or 0.1 ETH, whatever it was, up to going over 100 ETH in the secondary market. That's 10,000 items, and there's not really a pre-existing dying to buy a Bored Ape target market when those released, right? Like it's something that they had to build up, and obviously we saw what the demand happened with those. Now with team NFTs, we know factually there's millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions of fans for some of these sports, and we're only releasing 100 team NFTs for each sport or for each team. So if you look at the existing target market that might likely want to own that team NFT right now because they're already fans of the sport, and there's only 100 of them. If you look at the supply demand metrics on that, it's obviously exponentially better than what Bored Ape started out with. But so things can progress pretty quick.
Let me address Erica's question here.
How much will team NFT cost?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so initially on the NFL launch, we're keeping everything very simple, and we're going to have set prices for the team NFTs. It's just a way so somebody can come see how many team tokens they need, and they can purchase it. And we're setting the price based upon expected performance from those teams in this upcoming season. So the really good teams like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, those are going to be more expensive. And sorry if you're fans of these teams, but like the Cardinals, those teams are going to be at the cheapest. But in the end, they're all probably going to end up rewards, because what's interesting is these actually reward indefinitely. So if you own a team like the Cardinals that aren't expected to do well this year, they might do well in 2 or 3 years, and you're still getting team token rewards for owning that team NFT from years ago. Aaron, maybe you just want to talk about that. So the set price on the NFL, we're probably going to list them around 500 to 1,000 team tokens per NFT. But Aaron, we've got a great solution for all future leagues on the auction that we're working on, auction system.
Yep.
Yeah. So, we've had a couple different ideas related to better ways to offer the initial lot of NFTs or team NFTs when a new season launches or a new sport launches. Because of obviously version 1 and, the rush to get everything working extremely well for launch. We're not going to have one of the more intricate or advanced auction styles for the NFL launch. But yeah, no, in the future, we're going to, there's a lot of different ways we can do it. I don't have the notes in front of me right now, but we've discussed a couple different styles of selling the NFTs. Whether it just be something where, we could keep an inventory of, there's 100 of each team NFT. So as soon as the inventory of one of them drops, because it's most likely more in demand, then the price of that one can go up based on it having less inventory compared to, the average inventory of the remaining teams. That's one way we could do it. That's a more simple way. But then there's also auction style ones. There's a lot of different ways we can go. That would be, I think it's, the way that we're doing the first launch is going to be more advantageous to the people buying and not really to us, because, we're not going to basically get any more team tokens in when, a team is in crazy high demand, which will happen with our future models. So I feel the pricing is going to end up probably coming in quite low for the team NFTs on the first launch. But yeah, just due to lack of time to set up and test one of those more advanced ways. And, Did I cover what you wanted me to there, Marcus? Is that?
Yeah, that's perfect. They'll be ready. They'll be ready for the NFL, though.
Speaking of the NFTs, let's. I have another question that's related, and maybe we can expand a bit more on generalities of the NFTs. I know you guys talked about NFTs in the last AMA. Can you give us a brief overview of the NFTs, like how many there will be, etc.?
Okay, so do you want to get started, Marcus, and I'll finish, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. You take it. Okay.
So essentially our NFTs are ERC 1155s. Just to break that down for anyone that's not super technical about the two, your typical NFTs that you'd see on OpenSea are generally ERC 721, which means that they're strictly a non-fungible token, meaning that, for example, I like the Eagles, so let's go with that example. For our first set of NFTs that we're releasing for the NFL, for the 100 Eagles NFTs that we're going to have, if we use that ERC 721, we would have had to actually mint, 100 separate IDs, and it would have been very expensive for gas. So basically we went to ERC 1155 so that we could mint, batch mint 100 Eagles NFTs that are all fungibly the same, those 100, but they are unique from any other team or any other sport or even a future season. They're all going to be unique in that sense. In terms of how many there will be, so we will have, unless something changes, I assume that we're going to stick with the 100 number per team. So for example, for NFL, we got 32 teams, so 3,200 team NFTs. And again, because of the standard that we're using, those 100 of any particular team, they will be interchangeable. So essentially they will be fungible within other team NFTs of that team, of that season, of that league. So I probably went a little bit too technical there, but is there any other questions related to the NFT, or is it mainly just how many there will be? I guess I should go into that. Like when we release a new sport and new leagues and all the different things that we're going to do with soccer, like it's going to be 100 team NFTs for each team for each season. So it's the actual number is going to skyrocket once we start, launching more sports and.
And just to go on, like how many NFTs will be there, you can actually check, Aaron, if you go on the sports and leagues page on that tab, scroll up a little. So each of these actually lists exactly how many NFTs are available. You'll see there's like 32 teams, which means 3,200 NFTs. For the golf, we're going to have 100 players available, the top 100 players at the start of the season. So that's 10,000 NFTs. And you can really see how, with each team NFT requiring team tokens to be purchased, the demand for the team tokens is going to continue to rise because you're going to have all these NFTs continuously launching in these leagues, and you need team tokens to buy them.
So I'm going to skip past a couple questions here because we got a question that relates directly to what we were just talking about.
Will I own the team NFTs indefinitely, or is it just per year, per season?
So I'll let you start answering that, and I'll scroll to the white paper where it explains this as well.
Good call. All of these team NFTs you own indefinitely. So and not just own them, but they actually reward you indefinitely. So it's not just like after the end of the season, they're just dead things holding in your wallet. You're continuing to get rewards. So you can see here how we've actually structured that. If you buy something in 2023, you're getting 100% of the rewards for the first season. And in the following season, you're still getting 10% of the rewards, and it continues to go down like that. But that one NFT that you've purchased this year is just going to continue rewarding forever. So that's why, and that's why Aaron mentioned these first year NFTs are really, really valuable, and there's going to be really high demand for them.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I can't stress enough though that, you know, a lot of people get NFTs strictly for the clout of having one, or the, you know, there's so many mega fans of all these sports teams that, you know, I feel that beyond just the rewards, people are going to want to say, hey, I have one of these only 100 NFTs for my team. And like, they're going to be, I think the first year is going to be by far the most desirable, because, you know, moving forward, I mean, they're just the original, right? It's almost like with, you know, baseball cards or whatever, right? Like if you have the guy's rookie card, it's obviously better than, you know, his future cards, right? It's more valuable. So I think it's going to be, you know, a similar situation to that.
And like, sports fans are crazy, and I'm one of them. But like, the story I always go to is just a few years ago, the Green Bay Packers, they offered out like certificates to own their team to fans. And these certificates, they give you literally nothing. It's just a piece of paper saying you own a portion of the Green Bay Packers. They raised $65.8 million for these pieces of paper that don't do anything. Wow. So when you actually think, those fans are going to be the ones purchasing our team NFTs. And like, the European soccer fans are even crazier than American football fans. And so those fans buying our team NFTs, where you actually get rewards in addition to having the clout of saying, I own, you know, 5% of that team in the NFT realm. You know, that's why we really are excited for this, and we really see this working well.
And like, I don't see any way that fractional team NFTs doesn't happen in the future. You know, another protocol is going to say, hey, team NFTs are getting too expensive for some people to buy. So we're going to buy one, and we're going to, you know, ERC20 it out into, you know, 1,000 pieces. And we're going to let people buy a piece of a team NFT. Right. So, yep, that's
absolutely
definitely something I see happening. It already happens with, you know, in other sectors of the NFT market. So,
While we're still on the white paper, we have another question about tokenomics. What are the tokenomics?
I think this is what is tokenomics?
What is tokenomics? Sorry. Well, tokenomics, yeah, if you go up a bit, that's basically how the tokens are distributed. So here we have a very detailed explanation of how there's only going to be 100 million team tokens in existence. That's set in stone. And they are split from some going to the pre-sale, some going for a lot going to marketing, some to the team. Everything's explained, you know, in detail here about what the different categories are and what that's going to be used for.
Yeah, so you can really get an in-depth understanding of how the team tokenomics specifically are generated there. But some of the really cool highlights there are that we actually have some future team allocation, because we plan, I mean, as soon as this launches and we start getting these leagues, we're going to need more support. So we have allocation for future teams. We've got marketing. So that marketing, the 10% allocation, that it hasn't even been touched yet for our marketing for this pink sale pre-sale. So that's going to be marketing in the future. And that goes towards the sustainable growth that we're looking at. That's all going to be once we've all got the marketplace going, once we've got team NFTs going, marketing existing product. And then staking rewards, we won't get into that into too detail, but we're going to have a staking option as well that's going to offer, you can lock up team tokens, and you'll be rewarded in more team tokens just for locking them up. And we'll also have additional perks, but we'll have a full AMA on that, because there's going to be a lot more to dive into with the staking. So I don't really want to steal this one right now.
I think this is a question we had a little while ago that we didn't address yet.
Yeah. Do you guys have an idea about which will be the first CEX to get Team Token listed?
Yeah, so just for those that don't know, the CEX is centralized exchange, and it's just an easier way for people to buy team tokens. So initially, we're going to be on Uniswap on a decentralized exchange, and so the only way you'll get team tokens after the pre-sale is that locked liquidity we're talking about. You can go onto Uniswap and you can convert Ethereum to team token back and forth. But for centralized exchange, we're working with Ninja Promo, which is one of the leading Web3 marketing agencies, and they have really good contacts. And that's one of the big things that we're working on with them, is to ensure that we're going to be well taken care of when it comes to KEX listings. I'm thinking, I don't want to name any of it. Well, I mean, Gate.io is probably a great intro one that we're going to be on fairly soon. And you'll actually, in the tokenomics, we even have, you'll see we have 10 million team tokens set aside for our initial liquidity into these KEXs. So the liquidity in KEX.
Well, it's part of this section here. But
yeah,
liquidity in, because we put
we are
10% into the pre-sale liquidity, then we have another 12 or odd percent for centralized exchange.
Yeah, so we are actively and aggressively pursuing KEX listing, because I know that's always a huge boost to the token price.
Yeah.
So probably what, Binance and Coinbase in the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
We'll be there soon.
All right. Another great question. You mentioned a marketplace. What's going to be sold on this marketplace?
Yeah, Aaron, you can grab this one. You're familiar with the marketplace.
Yeah. So Team NFTs. So the logic of us having our own marketplace is that so that we can have better control over the user experience, and so everybody's able to, basically see what Team NFTs are available, see what the costs are, see how many are available, be able to list their own Team NFTs, and we're just looking to make the marketplace as easy to use as possible, and obviously geared specifically towards our Team NFTs. So you'll have better filtering options, and everything will be custom tailored towards making the user experience perfect based on, what you'd be looking for, and, the different variables related to a Team NFT to help you find what you're looking for as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we've got our basically beta version of the marketplace ready right now, and it's looking amazing. So I can't wait. We're going to finalize that by the end of this week and probably have it live like right as the pre-sale comes. You'll be able to check out the marketplace and see, because we're custom building this just for Team NFTs. So it's not just like a regular NFT marketplace. This is going to be a specific for Team NFTs, and you're going to be able to check the sports, the leagues, the price of everything. You're going to be able to claim your rewards there. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome part of our app. That's a great question.
I will say that we are going to also support using other marketplaces, because we've went out of our way to make sure that our Team NFTs are fully compatible with other marketplaces. So, for example, someone that, if they are only comfortable using OpenSea, they'll be able to purchase Team NFTs on OpenSea using Ethereum. There will be higher fees involved with that, as we've set, because we do want people using our own marketplace. But yeah, I mean, it will work perfectly fine on OpenSea. You'll be able to see the image of the NFT. You'll be able to see all the attributes and descriptions, and it'll be a full featured experience on OpenSea, just like any other properly set up NFT collection. But as I mentioned, the fees are going to be a little bit higher on OpenSea, because we do want people to use our own marketplace.
Yeah. So just go to teamtoken.com and everything you need will be right there.
Yeah. Thank you. Another question. We did kind of go over this. Maybe we can go over it quickly again for those who missed it. How does the pre-sale work?
I think we jumped ahead and answered this one, didn't we?
I think it was answered a bit differently earlier.
Okay.
Different question, different person, but yeah, definitely. And this looks like the questions are kind of weaning down. So a good way to end here is exactly what the pre-sale is and how to get involved with TeamToken. So for those that want to get involved, you like what you've seen, you like what you've heard, the only way to get involved with TeamToken is the pre-sale. Teamtoken.com/pre-sale. Yeah, you can go on the webpage, click on that button there, it takes you right to the pre-sale link.
Or /pre-sale.
/pre-sale. And that brings you to our pre-sale page, Pink Sale. And as we described earlier, so I won't get into too much now, but we are doing a fair launch. So everybody that buys TeamToken is getting it at the same low price. So there was nothing before this. There was no private sale. This is your first chance to get TeamTokens. And the people that get these, they're going to be the only people that have TeamTokens. There are none other in existence that are out there. So you'll be the first people getting Team NFTs, because as you see, everything there is locked. And I don't think we mentioned this, but our team allocation, which is the Team tokens that, Aaron, Simon, and I are going to get, those are vested over 3 years. So, even us, we're not going to have Team tokens right at the start. And the first ones get 30 days after the pre-sale ends. So you guys participating in the pre-sale are going to have Team tokens before even we do.
Yep. Oh, actually, just to touch base on that. So when the tokens will be claimable will be, I believe it's once we finalize the fair launch, which we're able to do anytime after the fair launch concludes. So we'll probably do it fairly soon after. Although that is something that I've noticed that a lot of pre-sales, they do it a couple hours later, and they do actually mention what time they're going to be doing it at. So like that's like when anytime after the pre-sale actually concludes, we can basically press one button just to finalize it, which creates the Uniswap pool. So, well, I'm sure we'll tell the community ahead of time, like when trading will start, probably an hour or two after the fair launch ends.
Yep. And and if you need any help with the pre-sale, or any questions about TeamToken after this, actually we just got one more there. Simon came in, but if you have any other questions coming in, just don't come by our Telegram, come by our Discord, ask on Twitter. We're always there. Somebody's always there on Telegram, and it's a great place to just get to know other people in the community and talk about TeamToken and get more questions answered.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, what will happen after the pre-sale? What's the probability of this being the game changer for cryptocurrencies?
I'll let you answer. You kind of just talked about the after pre-sale, but now we'll let you.
As for the game changer, I've been waiting for this kind of project for a long time, not for participating in it, but NFTs I find are really interesting, and having a real world implication, real world a tie-in to real world events. I think this is amazing. So this is really starting to blend, and that's what we're going to try to do with our website. We're trying to build something that is going to be accessible to all. I think eventually having something that people don't even know, it doesn't even have to do with the blockchain. We're just offering kind of, a solution to hold NFTs, which is kind of cool. It is blockchain related, but this is mostly related to, with your favorite team, owning something of your favorite team and getting rewarded for it as well, perpetually. I think that's amazing.
Well, I think just to add to that, I think like the target markets that we're hitting here, when you have diehard sports fans or just sports fans in general, so you have guys that are looking to make money in the cryptocurrency space. You have guys that are in love with NFTs. We kind of hit all three of those target markets pretty well. So, this could be the game changer for cryptocurrencies, just because we could onboard so many new users to crypto due to, our great user experience and, explainers, and just making it a very seamless process for someone that's never touched crypto to, jump in, grab some team tokens, grab a team NFT, have a great experience with crypto and, fall in love with it just like we all have. Right. So it's definitely could be the game changer for crypto.
Yes, and just to put those numbers into perspective, you've got the global sports market is worth over $620 billion, like all sports globally. Then you've got NFTs globally. There's about $3.2 billion worth of NFTs.
And that's with them in a rut. They're in a rut right now too.
Yeah. And we're gonna have an entire esports division, and that's like a $2 billion market there. And like just combining all of those and having a small piece of 100 NFTs for these, we just really anticipate this. That's why we anticipate this being a game changer for crypto.
I mean, and I always go back to if a couple guys on the team want to buy their own team NFTs, that's already 30% or 50% of the team NFTs gone for a particular team. So it's I think once there's more eyes on the project, I think team NFTs are going to be something that's super scarce, that, it's actually going to be quite expensive to be able to own one. And that's where fractional team NFTs come into play in the future, when another protocol wants to implement that, or perhaps we will, who knows, but it'd be nice if another protocol does it.
All righty. So this was great. I really appreciate all the questions. Thanks everybody for coming out. And as we said, just stay tuned to our socials for all the info. We've got the pre-sale happening in 6 days. And we look forward to having you guys be part of the community.
Yep. Yeah. And we'll always be available on Telegram. So any other questions, feel free to reach out to us.
We're there. Have a nice day, everyone.
Have a nice day.